Good afternoon, all. Can you thumbs up if you can hear us? And we should have James Phillips Alice Holman.
Yes.
Thank you. Well done. We've got Mr. and Mrs. William and Jennifer Edwards.
Yes, we're separate, in separate rooms.
There's that. And so waiting for Andrew Martin. There's Colette. Colette, are you
Charlotte.
Charlotte?
Sorry, I'm just changing my name. It's my daughter and son's name, which is on
Okay,
there.
got it. That's right. There, Mrs. Edwards. Got it. Can I get you guys to put on mute for a minute, and I'll let the chair open. We're still waiting for the planner. The planner is, I think, Andrew Martin.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, thank you. Can I get you guys to put on mute? Thank you very much. Welcome.
Okay, my name is Peter Weber. I'm the chair of the panel today. My colleagues on my right, Ron Edgar across the table, Meredith Shield, the community rep, and Chris Young, the other expert panel member. So we're reconvening the meeting. So welcome to all the consultants, owners, planners who are attending. I gather we have one objector who's not speaking today, I think, is that right?
That's correct.
So all the registered speakers are in fact representing the applicant. They are the applicant or they represent the applicants. There are 5 listed speakers today. Each speaker is granted 3 minutes only, and then a loud bell will ring. Chairman can extend your time a little bit if necessary. It's probably not necessary for you to tell us a great deal. It's a comprehensive set of plans. Council has recommended approval. The panel has had a preliminary discussion about the design and is, I think, supportive or subject to 1 or 2 minor suggestions. So in that situation, you probably don't need to tell us a great deal more, but we have registered, I think, James Phillips, the heritage consultant, Alice Coleman, architect, William Edwards owner, Jennifer Edwards owner, and Andrew Martin from AM Planning. So it's over to you as to how what you'd like to present, but as I said, we don't need to know a great deal more than what you've given us already. So over to whoever's going to be the first speaker.
It's James Phillips here, and I'm probably happy to speak first. And understanding your comments that you've just made, we're really here to assist you with answering any questions you may have with regard to the proposal. The proposal has been very well thought out, and we've worked comprehensively with Hunters Hill Council planning and heritage staff over a period of time to come to this scheme. So we feel we've put very careful and considered input, and we've received very professional assistance from the council officers. So we won't tire you with lengthy descriptions, but let you ask us questions if that is of assistance to you.
Thank you, James. So none of the other speakers want to speak. We can just...
Well, they may, but as I said...
Well, I think, okay. Well, I think there's just one suggestion we're making.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. I think maybe the owner, does the owner, Mr. and Mrs. Edwards, want to speak? Have a say?
No, we're just happy to let our consultants answer any questions that the panel may have.
But you're William Edwards. Yep. Okay. All right. I think we're supportive, as I said, and we had one or 2 relatively minor comments. Meredith, I think, has a comment first.
Yes, just a question. One of the things I think is critically important with new developments on heritage buildings is just maintaining the streetscape, the concept of, houses set within gardens And I'm just wondering about whether there's an opportunity for improved screen planting along the boundary where the garage is. I'm just a little bit concerned about how the lack of room there for effective screen planting to, if you like, soften the impact of the new part of the building and contribute to that sort of heritage streetscape that we want to preserve and conserve.
I understand what you're saying. The landscape plan indicates quite a varied planting and quite a wide planting corridor. The planting corridor does come to an angle at the back of the garage, as you'll note on the plan. But there's also a substantial street tree in front of there. And in certain situations, we're told not to depend on planting, but I have confidence of the retention of a street tree in Hunters Hill for some time to come, and that affords that additional bit of protection and enhancement of the setting of the house.
I think there's one other suggestion that the panel's been discussing,
Yes.
and that is that we find that the dormer window to the attic bedroom over the garage facing the street is just a little more assertive or over-assertive, a little more assertive than we desire. We wondered about, instead of a gable dormer window, that you had a, what's the word? A hip roof.
Or jerkin head.
Hip over the gable facing the street for bedroom 6. Sort of cutting back the slightly over-assertive character of that little dormer.
Maybe we can just do a jerkin at the face. That should be okay. There was some debate over that in the design process. We thought that was a simpler solution, but certainly the introduction of a jerkin head is possible there. The whole thing sits fairly low. So again, on the drawings, it shows it naked and without without the landscaping in front of it. So we're imagining that the landscaping and that substantial tree on the nature strip of the street is going to diminish that assertiveness of the dormer. But if it's the panel's wish, certainly a jerkin head could be introduced there.
It wouldn't be a complete dormer for the whole width of that roof. When you look at the street elevation, it would be a little hip over the windows themselves.
Yes, that's exactly a jerkin head. Yes,
Jerkin head, yeah.
or gablet, or jerkin head.
I think, unless there's anything else you'd like to say, we'd be inclined to recommend that as a condition. Otherwise, the conditions are, or the recommendation is as set out on page 152 of the council's report.
Mr. Chairman, there's a letter that came in from the architects pointing out requesting a change for those conditions.
Right.
In regards to the glazing of the windows, the condition talks about opaque glazing and it should be obscure glazing. So if we adopt that part,
Be translucent glazing, not obscure.
Well, the translucent would just mean a normal window. The issue was the glazing to the stairwell.
Yeah.
And it needs to be obscured somewhat in some form.
Yeah.
It's, as Mr. Young said, it's currently worded to be opaque, and the request was obscure, which I think is a reasonable.
Yeah.
Translucent would just mean it's back to plain glass,
Yes.
which would defeat the purpose.
And opaque really creates a problem for a certifier these days. That's why we requested it.
I think I think that's subject to what the panel's view is.
Yeah.
As the assessment officer, I think that's fine.
Thanks.
So I'd move that amendment, Mr. Chairman.
the two amendments. Amendment as in the letter from Alice Coleman, it is. So that would be as in point 2 in that letter. That's amendment number 1. That's condition number 1. Architectural plans to be amended to include screw glazing to windows WT10 to the stairwell located on the southeast elevation, as shown on rear. Phillips drawing DA06, revision C dated 17/11/20. So that's the full wording of that condition. And secondly, would you like to have Chris to include in your motion the second condition to provide a hip roof over the attic window facing the street?
Jerkin head. Yeah.
Respectfully, could that word be jerkin head, as you say, because a hip roof has slightly
brings the eaves down too low. Yeah.
Okay, so the motion is for approval as recommended by council with the addition of 2 additional conditions, I presume. We have 4.
A variation of one condition, Mr. Chairman, and the addition of another, the roof one.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's clear to everybody. So is there any further discussion of the motion? If not, I can put the motion. Those in favour, raise hand or say aye. Carried unanimously. Thank you. Name's Philip and Alice and others.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, panel.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
See you, James.